students, I am teacher Wani, and in this video, students will learn about chapter 3.2 Organs for Water and Mineral Salts Uptake. The learning objective from this chapter, students should be able to describe the root structure for water and mineral salt uptake, and students should be able to justify root adaptation for water and mineral salt uptake. Students, what we get from the video is that a plant cannot grow normally without a root because roots function to provide support and strength to anchor the plant in the soil. And also, roots also function to absorb water and mineral salts from the soil and transport them to the stem and leaves. We start our lesson by looking at the picture here. What is the object in the picture? Is this a car or is this a house? Correct, student. This is a picture of a tree. How about we zoom it closely? What do you guys see? It's a root. Brilliant, student. There is another name for the root. What is the name of that root structure? The first structure is a root collar. Then we have the primary root, and lastly, at the end of the root, the name of that structure is lateral root. Now students, how about we zoom in on the structure? There is another root structure that students will learn. There are root hairs, lateral roots, and lastly, root caps. After learning the name of the structure, students also need to know the function of each structure. Firstly, the structure of root collar. The function of the root collar is a part of the root connected to the base of the plant stem. Next, the structure of root hairs. Root hairs function by adapting the epidermal cells of the roots. Root hairs can also increase the total surface area of the roots to increase the uptake of water and mineral salts. Lastly, the structure of the root cap, which is located at the tip of the root, functions to protect the root from damage when going through the soil. Next, we are going to learn about root adaptations for water and mineral salt uptake. Now, we zoom in on the structure of roots, and as students can see, the figure shows the internal structure of roots. There are several structures that students need to understand and remember. Primary xylem, pericycle, and primary phloem. These three structures are known as vascular cylinders. Next, the outer layer is the epidermis. After the epidermis, there is the cortex. The hair-like structure is root hair. The outer layer of the pericycle is the endodermis. And finally, the outer layer of the primary phloem is known as the cambium vascular. Alright students, you already learned about the name of the root structure. Now we are going to learn the function of root structure that students have learned just now. Firstly, let's take a look at the epidermis. It has thin cell walls and water-permeable cell membranes to facilitate water movement in the roots. The epidermis also has epidermal cells that are closely arranged and form root hairs by elongating towards the lateral sides of the outer walls. Root hair cells are not layered with cuticles to allow water absorption. Instead, they have big vacuoles to store water and mineral salts to increase water absorption. Next, the structure of the endodermis. Endodermis is a separate layer between the cortex and vascular cylinder. Endodermal cells are closely arranged and one cell thick. Most of the endodermal cells have subrine or lignin thickening at the walls, which form Casparian strips. Endodermis allows water and mineral salts absorbed from the soil to enter the vascular cylinder, but not air bubbles. Next, let's take a look at the structure of the cortex. Cortex is located under the epidermal layer. It has thin cell walls to facilitate water movement in the roots. The cells are loosely arranged to facilitate gases exchange, and most of the cortex consists of parenchyma cells. Lastly, the structure of the vascular cylinder. The vascular cylinder is the root core, which consists of xylem and phloem tissues surrounded by one cell-thick pericycle tissues. The pericycle is involved in secondary growth and the formation of lateral roots. Usually, xylem and phloem tissues are arranged in a star-shaped pattern. Xylem tissues transport water and mineral salts, whereas phloem tissues transport organic substances such as sucrose and plant hormones. It's quiz time! There are 2 questions and students need to choose the correct answer in a given time. Which statement is true? The answer is function of roots is to store food or starch. Second question, which statement about endodermis is not true? The answer is has Casparian strips thickened with lignin. In conclusion, we have learned one subtopic in this video, which is 3.2 organs for water and mineral salt uptake. We have learned the root structure for water and mineral salt uptake, which are the root collar, primary root, lateral root, root hair, and root cap. And also we have learned root adaptation for water and mineral salt uptake, which are epidermis, cambium vascular, endodermis, root hair, cortex, primary xylem, pericycle, and primary phloem. Thank you for watching this video. I hope students enjoy.